Welcome to Bern, Switzerland, Switzerland's capital. Some nice pictures of downtown. We're here at the Curling Almend in Bern, and here we are with the 8-sheet curling club. Welcome everybody to continued coverage of the World Curling Tour, the Bern Ladies International, and our feature game today is Team Christensen against Team Muirhead. And we have at lead position for Team Christensen, Taylor Anderson, Natalie Nicholson at second, Jenna Martin at third, and Sarah Anderson at skip. And for Team Muirhead, Lauren Gray, Vicky Adams at second, Kelly Schaefer at third, and of course Eve Muirhead at skip. Team Christensen is spare for the Olympic team, so currently not playing with her team. She will be back again sometime when the play downs come, and then we'll see teams shortly. And here we go. From left to right, Taylor Anderson, Natalie Nicholson, Jenna Martin, and Sarah Anderson. And the Scottish team, Eve Muirhead, Kelly Schaefer, Vicky Adams, and Lauren Gray. Once again, a nice picture of the ice, steady at 4.8. Head ice maker Stefan Rutlisberger. My name is Armin Harder. I'm going to help go through this game with you, and with me I have ice maker extraordinaire and rock expert Mark Cullen. Hello, Mark. Thanks for joining in.
Hi, Armin. Great to be here. Thank you for having us along.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a little bit of fun.
I hope so.
For the next 2 hours, and we've got a great matchup here. Former world champion Eve Muirhead and a very good USA team. And we're off with the first rock here, Lauren Gray. They've already done their draw shots, and currently the Americans have won that, so they have the hammer.
Good. Get it tight. Hard, Kelly. Hard, Kel. Get over, Kelly. Go, go, go. Hard,
And
Kelly.
Mark, you're going to tell us lots about ice and rocks. You might as well take advantage of having you here to do that. And of course, I know you're quite useful at curling too. I've seen you play.
And you're flattering me. Flattering me. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of swing on this ice. It's moving a lot. The stones are looking pretty aggressive. Ice surface temperature is nice. This competition with today having 3 draws, there's a lot of demand on the ice, so it's going to keep the ice makers busy to try and keep it in tip-top condition. But as we kick off here in the first end, the teams are just trying to find their feet, just adjust to the curl and try and get something going in the first end.
We saw a lot of rotation on that rock, and I think it's kept it pretty straight. I think that would have been behind the guard with a little bit less rotation.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Armin. It's the rotation is important because with the rocks that are this aggressive, they really grip the ice as they lose speed. So if you're not having a lot of rotation, then it can actually look like the stone's picked up because it can veer off. So therefore, the teams use a lot of rotation. But you see from that shot there, even with a lot of rotation, it's still curling a lot. So it's tough to control. But in this first end, as I said, the teams are really just trying to find their feet, just judge how much curl there is, get used to the speed, and of course the team that adapts quickest or quicker is going to have an advantage.
And Taylor Anderson, let's see if she had the same kind of rotation again. She does have a lot of turn on that rock. They got a very long guard out front. And now 2 rocks in play. So this team, there was 3 teams that played for the qualifiers for the Olympics in the U.S. This team came third in that contest and lost their skip as a spare to Nina Roth, the team that won. So they're without their usual skip, and Natalie Nicholson has jumped in. As we see, I don't know if that was intentional. Vicky Adams taking out her own guard.
Yeah.
And a good opportunity here to throw up a guard in front of those 2 counters. Or split the rings. Christensen playing Yellow Rocks has the hammer.
So calling for the guard here, I think.
So this is just talking to the coach, the national coach,
the head man of U.S. curling.
Of U.S. curling.
Yes. I think
you can translate what he said to me.
indeed, it's Mr. Derek Brown, a fellow Scot.
Yeah, Derek said that these girls have been just about the second event they played together like this now, with Sarah Anderson at skip position. So they did play the Stockholm ladies in September. They did quite well there. Ended up 3rd in that competition, which is a pretty good result. That's
certainly for first time out.
Tough competition.
Or even let's try and get as close to nose. Okay.
Eve's currently ranked 6th on the world ranking, and Corey Christensen team is ranked 38th. So
this competition is always big with the ladies, because especially in an Olympic year with so many Olympic teams participating in this event, which is great for the event. They are treating as a kind of final shakedown or as part of the preparation before they go to the Olympics in Pyeongchang next month. So
we've got 4 or 5 Olympic teams here, and there's 5 former world champions playing also. And we're looking at one right now there.
It's a pretty impressive lineup. It shows the draw that these events have, that teams are willing to travel right from the States and all over Europe to participate, as well as Asia. So
yeah, 2 Chinese teams here, and one of those being Bin Yuang, also a former world champion, and along with Christensen we have another American team here, Jamie Sinclair. And that guard's just a little bit long, and the line is not quite in front of it. With an out turn there, good chance of a double both of those out there.
Yeah, I think so. That seems to be the call that Eve is making. She's giving pretty tight ice, so I think she can only see probably around half the stones.
So Mark, you're an ice maker for the WCF. You do a lot of international events, and you're also the for K's Scotland. You're the boss.
Well, only when the
real when Donald's not around.
Only when the real boss is not around. Yes, exactly.
Just get past that and gets it on the nose, and that over curled actually. And we could see how much curl there is. She got right on that, Lauren Gray. So I'm sure we'll have we'll give you a couple of cheap plugs here for
K's Rocks.
K's Rocks.
Yeah. Well, the rocks being used in this competition are the club's rocks. They are K's of Scotland rocks. They have 2 inserts. They have one on the A side and one on the B side, which gives them maximum flexibility for use. And we're using the A side of the rock today. If you get in close, you can see the little white scribe line just above the striking band, which tells us it's above the striking band, so they're on the A side. But these rocks are the same specification as will be used in the Winter Olympic Games in Pyeongchang. So the teams are you know, getting a little practice with them under their belt before they head off to the Olympics. So it's they always feel that that's worthwhile, and it helps them feel a bit more comfortable with the stones that they will play with, because there will be similar specifications. So it's a good event for them to come and get involved in.
Again, that rock curled quite a bit more than she wanted, and it got on the inside of the red one and didn't actually remove the yellow one. So pretty good setup here right now for the Americans in the first end. Need to draw around that corner guard.
Yeah, it's also really good to see the ladies going out here and being aggressive in the first end and trying to get a score on the board, and instead of playing at a defensive end of, you know, put one in the house and then hit and blank. At least we're getting some interesting shots being played, and you're going to see a little bit of strategy being used and playing out, and should hope we get a bit of a score on the board straight away.
See a nice draw here as that comes to rest just in front of the tee line. Nicely played
and covered by the long guard.
So there is a double there, but it's very long, and it is a little flat, so I don't think Eve can manage that, but she can get a nice hit and roll in behind all that center stuff.
Okay, so
Kelly Schaefer holding
roll right over behind
broom.
that red if we can.
Do you say normal?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So Eve calling the sweepers off this. We're hoping it'll curl a little more. And hits it pretty much on the nose.
It's on the nose. And quite observant of you, Mark. Kelly Schaefer not usually standing there in the third position. It's usually Anna Sloan, of course. But I suppose Kelly is the spare, probably, going to the Olympics. So they're putting her in to
keep her sharp.
Keep her, get some playing practice with the team. Kelly, of course, living in Saskatchewan, Canada.
Yeah, just gonna throw 9-5.
I'm trying to remember the name of the place.
Yep.
So just calling the hit on this one. Seem pretty comfortable with it. They're not pounding it the whole way up. It's the hit in the nose and sticks around. So it's putting the pressure on Eve.
Or we go for the same hit and roll.
Or the hit and roll again, because we know it out there now.
Or we could tap everyone red. I know, but the only thing is we're not.
Mind
If you tap that into the open, you're leaving them a no hit.
We could freeze.
Should I either play the hit and roll into there, or we try and freeze here? What do you like?
I like the hit and roll or the freeze.
Probably the hit and roll. The tap's not bad. You could get it perfect, but you're always going to leave them a double for 3.
Yeah.
And it's just difficult with the swing and ice to know exactly where the tap.
Whereas we have just played, I know we're hitting third shot, but we have just played that.
And you can't see any of that. No.
Quite a lot of discussion
We
going
do
on
know the
here,
weight
and you
up
can
there
listen in at the
from
moment
hers.
and hear what they're saying. So I'll be quiet, but
Yeah?
big
That's
call
only
to
one we
make
really
here.
know at
Okay.
the moment.
Okay,
What do you
as long
think,
as we
Eve?
make sure we're shot.
Okay.
Right, so if I throw same weight as I threw, what do you think? There, same weight.
Oh yeah. I'll make sure they don't give up more than 2 here. If they get a nice roll, they may get away with.
They might actually be able to steal one.
Might be able to steal if you get a perfect roll.
Yeah. Yeah.
But right now she's making sure she doesn't give up more than 2. She's certainly looking at possible 3.
Yeah.
And that was really the main topic of the conversation there, was to avoid that at all costs, which is of course sensible. But this is not an easy shot on ice that's swinging like this.
Normal. Clean. Solid normal. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Just calling them off.
Whoa.
It's hanging out there too, isn't it?
It is.
Okay.
It's basically the same way her first one ran, so it's pretty well an open draw for 2 here for Anderson. Sarah, of course, the twins in the team. Taylor and Sarah.
Sarah being the slightly older, I think.
Same path as Jenna's.
Oh, I would know
Is it 80?
by minutes or
Minutes.
oh. Hopefully not days.
No. Not a
Swift current. There we go. I mean,
Yep.
geez, that took a long time.
Speedy
That's-
Creek.
Speedy. That's right. I remember you always saying Speedy
Speedy
Creek.
Creek.
Oh, we're getting old, Mark. Yep, memory's starting to fail us. So here in the first end, Sarah Anderson, free draw for 2. It's really working it, doesn't have the weight.
It's not looking like it at all.
Well, they're dragging it pretty far, doing a good job of it. Is it gonna
Just enough.
Come on, girls, you got it. All the way in. All the way in. Go, go, go.
Whoa.
Oh,
Don't know.
I think so.
You think so?
I
I'm
think
thinking
so.
red. I think it's 1.
Well,
Or it's
may
going
have-
to, in a measure,
we
perhaps.
may have a measure. 1 for sure. That's just brutal when you sweep it all the way and it just
Good
comes
sweep.
up that much short.
Get
so-
like an ID?
Yeah.
Nice sweep.
Or,
That's closer.
It's not-
or just right.
Well, that's right. Well, it's
What do you think it is?
it's the time to get obviously the measure out and look at it, but it's very disappointing if you've spent all that energy and sweeping it the whole way to suddenly find that it's a couple of centimeters short. But it's really hard to tell from this angle which one is short.
It's
But,
definitely yellow.
But Kelly Schaefer now looks like she's taking charge of the measure.
Yeah.
So she'll
Gives you
setting it up.
Line weight into the same
Oh,
thing.
that's
Second
right.
half.
she's doing a very good job.
Yeah,
Usually an
it's just-
umpire will do this, but in these competitions with 8 sheets going, and
Yeah.
And that's top 12. So my game.
players can take care of this themselves.
No,
Well, we're not getting a good indication there.
Aye, totally.
Oh yeah, it's definitely yellow.
it is.
I called it.
Yeah.
I get that beer later.
Indeed. So,
Your pain.
So Christensen gets 2 in the first end. Good opening end for her. Had the hammer.
Great end. And so
Good shot. I thought it was us, but I was like, good sweep. Yeah, stick with it.
and we'll see the score here after first end of play. Christensen taking full advantage of the hammer, scoring 2. And if you're interested in any other results, worldcurl.com. Check out results of this event, and on the weekend there'll be a number of other events going on, or direct streaming link. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and Twitter. And World Curling TV helping us out with the production here, and the Polar HD from Latvia doing the technical crew.
So it's quite an impressive club. 8 sheets of ice, as you see. We're looking back from the away end towards the home end, and you can see the restaurant on the ground floor and the viewing area up top. So it's ideally set up for hosting this type of event.
Well, we've had some big events in here too, besides the Bern ladies. I think the World Mixed
Yeah,
were in here a couple of years ago.
yeah. The first World Mixed was here.
Yeah.
Top 4 guys right here.
No, it's a great club. It's been around 10, 15 years now, I think. And Stefan Rötlisberger,
Nice
very
job.
experienced ice maker, does a great job. Lauren Gray.
So Eve calling for a corner guard here, trying to give herself something to keep stones in play and give her something to hide behind as the end progresses in order to try and readdress the balance after losing 2 in the first end. She'll be very keen to try and take that back this end, and certainly to get on the board. 2 is obviously ideal. 3 would be better, but she definitely needs to get on the board here.
And we see the lead rock of the Americans in a perfect spot. You see how much ice Anderson's taking.
2. Room. 2. Room. Lots of room.
From an ice maker's point of view, this is an event that requires a lot of work because there are so many draws back to back. So it's always a challenge to keep the ice consistent. And as we can see, there's lots of curl on this ice. It's very, very aggressive stones. So that makes for some good curling because it's then very critical on the release and the sweeping as to how the teams are positioning the stones. So it should make for some interesting games.
32 teams in this competition. It's a triple knockout. So A, B, and C group. And as you lose, you drop down in groups until you're in C, and then you lose that. You're finished. You're out. This is A group competition, so these have already played a game. And that hits and rolls out. Eve was world champion in 2013 in Riga.
So Eve calling here to come in behind our own red stone, use the guard.
Line's good.
Trying to get something in the house, trying to get an end built in order to try and achieve a score. So seem quite happy with this one. It looks like it's T-line, just even slightly more. Maybe back 8 foot. And it just sails on a little bit.
Okay.
It stays in the rings, so. And Sarah Anderson doesn't waste any time in just putting the broom down and saying, take it away.
Curled right around that guard and came out the other side. So it's good to try and get a lead early against Eve. She's extremely good at, you don't want to give up the lead to her at any point. She's really good at defending leads.
Yeah, so Jenna Martin throwing the stone, formerly Jenna Hag, got married in the summer. Plays it and hits. That's a nice little roll and stays in the rings, back of the 8 foot. So seem pretty happy with that shot.
It's good weight up there. Yep, at least I gave you there.
So
Okay.
Eve giving a little more ice this time in an effort to stay in front of the tee line but go behind her own guard. Christensen's Yellowstone is at the back of the 8 foot on the center line, so it's wide open. But Eve choosing to ignore that and trying to come around her own guard to give her a bit of position to try and score more than one in this end.
Just keep zipping for weight. It's not cool. Okay.
Oh, it's light. It's very light.
It's one. Yep, keep going. Okay.
Yeah, it's not very good.
No, it's a bit short, and Eve changing the call as it came up, realizing it was a little short and trying to put into operation a plan B. But as you can see, the stone stopped well short of the house. And the Americans are still, Americans and Christensen are lying one, with another one now to come. Again, trying to come around their own guards and trying to force the end so that Muirhead needs to use her last stone to take a one. Of course, in doing so, gives the Christians the hammer back again in the next end. So, pin high. Just a little bit further than I think she would have liked.
Lauren's ran a bit at barrier. I think that should be good.
I think that'll be good at hack.
I'm looking at tapping the stone that's sitting on the button and have a little roll behind the cover, if possible.
Solid hack. Hack. Yep. Whoa. Yep. Solid. Hard one. Hard. Okay, nice throw. Perfect. Good kill.
So Muirhead quite happy with that,
Curl too much up there.
saying that it seemed a little straighter on that particular line, but they did sweep it quite hard. But Christensen deciding that the Christensen team deciding that they want to just chip this one out.
Get a nice little roll maybe to the left and sit behind their own guards.
Yep. Removes the Muirhead stone and loses our own stone at the back of the rink, but still lying shot, so I don't think unhappy with that outcome. Leaves Muirhead again with the option of trying to hit this yellow stone and then roll behind the cover.
Yes, but as long as you keep Muirhead trying to make hit and rolls, like you say, with the big curl here, she's going to have a difficulty getting rocks in real good position, I think.
Yes. I think she might have to just accept the inevitable here, take her one and try build something in the next end, because this is not this end has not really gone according to plan for her.
Yeah, she's playing in the middle too, and that's not really where she wants to play. Roll too far. That's those perfect hit and rolls are a little tougher. And that's what Christensen wants. Keep your opponent making tough shots.
Nice throw, Kel. Really good throw.
Certainly, Sarah Anderson in these early stages is keeping the pressure on Muirhead.
Yeah, just got a nose here. Throw in a 9 just because it's a new path. I think we're better in that way than trying to come around that centre one, do you think? It's swinging that much there.
So once again, the hit is called.
The only thing is you come around there, you make it perfect. They do it around the centre.
She'll be hoping to hit and stick. Nicely controlled, but hits and rolls, so leaves the house empty. In the good old days of Eurosport, they used to say the removal men had been in because it was an empty house. But,
we know it from yours, Vicky.
Okay.
We just need to give.
Looks like outside in the 12-foot with a little bit of weight, it's running a little bit straighter out there.
It certainly looks like it, yeah.
Like this? The only thing is, even if I
Because of the number of draws that are back to back, that there's not an opportunity between the 3 games so far today to cut, so to re-prepare the surface. So you do get a little bit of pebble build up, and of course they're not playing as much out there, out in the wings as they are in the middle.
let's
So
keep
therefore
that.
there is a chance that it can run a little bit straight, or a little bit straighter than they would expect. But that's all part of the game.
Yeah,
That's where they have to
be aware
adjust.
of that.
Yeah.
And these girls are experienced enough that they should be aware of that. They came off their Muirhead team came off the first game with a big win, so they're obviously hoping to build on that. And once again now the call is from Muirhead to try and go through that port between the yellow and the red stones and hide behind the red stones. Making it extremely difficult for Anderson to do anything about it. So weight is critical here, and there needs to curl, and it's not moving a lot at the moment, and it might just actually touch the yellow guard. It does. Oh, that's unlucky.
Well,
it's not really what you wanted there.
Really chance for Christensen to get buried here and really put some pressure on the Muirhead. Get her behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
Really quickly.
So Anderson here is looking to draw into maybe touching the blue, touching the forefoot behind those 2 yellow guards, and that would really put the pressure on Muirhead to try and secure her 1. That would be a tough shot for her. Working this one pretty hard.
Okay, go ahead. Yep.
Wade is looking pretty good. Just trying to get it around and buried in behind these 2 yellow guards. They're working it hard all the way. It's not a bad effort. Just maybe a couple of feet short of, a meter short of where they would like to be, but it's still forcing Eve to fully draw the 8 foot.
There's a golden opportunity there for Christensen to really put the pressure on, but still a tough draw here.
For sure, yeah. And they're playing on this side now, which they haven't really played on. So
trying to navigate through that port to get in the forefoot.
That's a tough call. That's a tough shot. Yep, I agree.
I'll just play this.
Well, Eve sounds pretty confident. She's just going to take her 1, so should be pretty confident. But I still think with the number of guards in play, and it's a fairly narrow port, that it's going to have to be played absolutely perfectly in order to secure the 1 that she really wants to get in this end. The end has been played really very well by the Christensen team, skipped by Anderson, and they've kept the pressure on all the way through. Letting Eve take a 1 here, I think they'll be quite happy with that. But this is looking pretty good.
She makes this shot. It's nicely done.
It is.
Just got to come to a stop, but it looks all right.
Yeah, it's just running to the back. But it'll, yeah. Oh, it
keeps running.
It just hangs on, I think.
All right.
Yeah, they concede that, so it's 1 to Muirhead there.
Yeah.
Good force. Good in. Centre, up tight. Let's get it up tight.
Yeah. Put a few pounds on.
Yeah, everyone just has to be positive with their throws, because you just have to believe where the brush is at, eh? Yeah. Because it is curling, but the thing is, it's a curl till it's kind of contorted.
We might have to play some back lines or
Move some rocks around,
yeah. Try to get them out.
Playing well.
So with that 1 in the second end, Muirhead gives up the hammer. And Christensen, or Anderson in this case, a 2-1 lead. After 2 ends of play, we'll have the hammer going into the 3rd. And we're here at the Bern Curling Center. The 50th anniversary event of these Bernese International Ladies.
Line's good!
Eve Muirhead, Scottish Olympic representative, against
Right, whoa.
against Sarah Anderson, Corey Christensen team. Corey Christensen being the spare for Nina Roth going to the Olympics is not here, so Anderson taking over the skipping duties and doing a fine job up until now. Eve Muirhead in their first game played Marina Hauser in Dubendorf and beat them 6-2. And Anderson defeated Palaksa from Hungary by a score of 5-3. So that was their first game to take them here. This is a group play, second draw in their side of the A pool.
So do you think it'll look hanging on up here from what you would usually need, or?
And I'm here with Mark Cullen. You're going to Pyeongchang.
Yes, we are. We
And
go.
your duties are?
Well, I'm part of the ice making team for the curling event, which of course for the first time ever this time will include the mixed doubles, as well as obviously the men's and the ladies. We actually go out to Pyeongchang on the 26th of January. We'll install the ice from scratch and get it all ready for the event. So it's a pretty long haul for the Olympics. It means that we'll be out there for about a month. But it's exciting times. I mean, Olympics is always good. It's always the big one. It's really nice to be
It's
involved.
a lot of SOMAC.
Well, indeed, it is. There's a potential for that, that's for sure. And but it's going to be interesting this time because it's the first time mixed doubles is going to be part of the event. So I think there's a lot of anticipation, and everybody's very keen to see how it pans out and how it plays.
Well, curling should get lots of TV time, I would think, with mixed doubles starting before the official Olympic starts. And I think the final game of the curling is the second last event or something.
It is
final of the.
Yeah, it is absolutely right. It is. It's the mixed doubles actually starts the day before the opening ceremony, and that's very unusual. But just due to the length of the competition and the number of teams involved, it has to be that way. It's also really good that the gold medal game in the ladies event will be the second last event of the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics. The only event that concludes after them is the men's ice hockey, which is always considered I suppose a kind of blue ribboned event. So, but it's really good that the ladies are getting such a high profile role in the event, and the building has had a lot of work done to it. We've had test events with the World Juniors.
You did the World Juniors last year?
Yes, and the World Wheelchairs, because I'm in the fortunate position that actually this time out I'm going to be part of the ice crew for the Olympics and the Paralympics. And my companion for the Paralympics is actually the ice maker from Bern, Stefan Roethlisberger. So Stefan will be with me, and we will do the Paralympics immediately following the main Olympics. The main Olympics ice crew is myself and two Canadians. The same ice crew as has done Sochi. And we did Sochi in 2014.
And they are?
And it's Hans Butrich from Gimli, Manitoba, and Eric Montford from Winnipeg in Manitoba as well. So it's the old team put back together.
I wish you good luck with all that, and
Thank
we'll
you.
be looking forward to getting our overdose of curling for that competition, the Olympics, and it'll be pretty exciting to see what's happening there. I think there's some really good teams there, so it's pretty hard to predict who's going to come out of that. Really good, useful end here for Eve starting out. She's got center guard set up and two nicely placed just in front of the forefoot. So that was obviously Natalie Nicholson throwing there. A very experienced player that's kind of come out of, I guess, sort of retirement to come and jump into this team to help out as Christensen's off away on other duties, Olympic duties.
So that shot cleared the two guards and left it wide open. So now Eve is calling to replace or put a guard back on. Not in the rings, but close to the rings, but covering to prevent both of these red stones being removed.
Easy.
Alina Pats is the defending champion from last year, 2015 world champion from Sapporo. She's also out there currently playing against Kaspari.
Come on, Kelly, keep going, keep going.
Took a 4 in the first end and was leading that game 4-1.
Well swept, guys.
Not a bad guard, but those two red rocks are so close together now. You just need to touch them and they're both gone. It's just a nose hit, and
we should spring both of them.
Spring both of them, and you're sitting 2 in the house. I don't think you're going to drive that back onto the yellow.
Yeah, if we get that, that's fine.
I don't think she needs to worry about the back yellow.
Actually, peel. Peel.
Shouldn't touch that.
No, well, she's calling for some big weight on this one.
I would just throw a normal takeout at this, because you're going to you've put this out a bit. You don't want to lose your shooter. Good opportunity to get 2 in play here.
Yep, yep.
Calling it right away.
Whoa, whoa,
Might have been
yep,
tight.
Yep, yes, yes, hard.
Oh, nicely played. Is it going to hang around? Looks like it.
Yeah, great shot.
Okay.
She gets it a little bit on the outside. Didn't need to throw it that hard. Should have been hard too. Good setup here, but the red guard out there,
Yeah,
of course.
13 and a half will give you a good chance.
Eve's going to try and make use of that.
Yep.
Kelly Schaefer from Swift Current. Of course, I have good memories of Swift Current.
You do?
The ladies' worlds there. We
Becky!
took a gold medal again there.
Oh, that would have been in your previous life in charge of Swiss curling.
Vicky! Hard, Vicky! Hard,
And
Vicky!
now you've got a real job.
You gotta go, Vicky!
Having a chat with you.
Yeah.
Go, guys. Go, 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 go.
Nice.
Good
We'll
switch.
continue this afterwards too.
Yeah.
No doubt.
For sure. For sure.
So that rock should be fairly open.
Well played.
Very open, actually. Get the inside, get a little roll here. So right now the Americans are actually doing a good job controlling this game.
Whoa, yep,
Jenna
yep.
Martin.
Hard. Whoa, 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 whoa. Go, Natalie, Natalie, Natalie. Yep, yep.
Didn't quite get the sweep right on that. They could have kept it a little straighter and get that roll a little bit better. But it's difficult to read sometimes, especially when they're snapping at the end.
For sure. Yeah, because the rocks are so aggressive, as soon as the weight comes off at all, the rock really takes off. It really starts to curl quite aggressively. And judging that point,
Really got to anticipate the movement of the rock.
for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And that is key. And I've got to say, in that shot, it looked a little bit uncertain as just whether to sweep or not, or whether we're sweeping for line or sweeping for weight. It seemed to.
Usually a good thing on this, when they're so aggressive, is when you have the feeling the rock is good, probably a good time to sweep. Eh?
Yeah, exactly. It's if you're not going to set it back, so if you put the brushes on it and the skip shouts, no,
You can always call
it
off,
can
right?
always come off. Yeah, it's almost a case of prevention is better than cure.
Right.
Yeah. But it of course it is all dependent, of course, on the weight and just
Which
and the
makes
rotation.
communication that much more important. The front end communicating what kind of weight we're looking at. If it's the expected weight, not the skip is weight expecting at the end, of course.
Indeed.
So the inside sweeper here is trying to keep this rock straight. That's why she's sweeping. Oh, now there's a better roll. There we go. And of course the sweeper on the outside of the turn is trying to make it curl more.
Well, that's the theory.
Well,
you know, I mean,
obviously it does that.
Freeze or we bump.
Much less now, of course, than in past years.
Indeed.
Although we were too stupid to figure that out until it was too late. If I only had known that when I was young.
Yeah. You used to always wonder why you missed on the wide side.
Right.
Because you're
Like
sweeping
wrong,
the
the
wrong
wrong
side.
guy was sweeping. It wasn't,
Exactly.
It wasn't the way I threw it. It was the wrong guy sweeping.
Yeah. Always. Yeah. Something like 22 excuses you can give before you have to admit you played a bad shot.
Options going this way.
But certainly with the advent of the change in the rules for the pads and the brush, that's made a huge difference to the game.
And it's made your life a little easier too as an ice maker, isn't it?
It
You
certainly
only
has.
have to pebble in the morning and then you can go home, right?
Pretty much. You know, we just throw down one championship pebble at the start of the competition and then go home. It's fine.
It was back here, so I'd be a bit
But
heavy.
no, but seriously, the change in the rock, the change in the pads, has made a huge difference, because some of the pads that we're using towards the end, just before they changed the regulations, were so aggressive they were actually ripping the pebble off. So you would actually get to the stage that if there were some really good, powerful sweepers out there, and they were putting new pads on their brooms every single end, you could get to 5 or 6 ends in and find that there are certain parts of the sheet where there's no pebble. And of course, that's not really what you want.
So he's trying to come down, draw down to the top of this, and it's not a bad attempt. If it's behind the guard, I think it's pretty good behind the guard. It's really good, actually.
Yes, it is. Yeah, pretty straight.
So it's really try and go for the steal here. He's been fairly aggressive here in this end, all end, trying to get something in play behind that guard.
And here you can see just how nicely that stone's curled in.
That guard's so long, though, she can get at it with the out-turn side, get to the top of that red one, and just knock it out, too. And we see Jenny Martin cleaning the path of where that red rock should go, if it's hit correctly. Sarah Anderson with her first rock here in this end. See the sweeper on the left side of the rock here. What we're looking, she's trying to make that rock curl because it really needs to curl. I don't think she's got the red one at all.
Okay.
No, she gets her own. So Eve's tactic there, forcing Anderson to make a tougher shot. Worked out for her.
If you think if you're even sitting here.
Now, where do you put the next one?
I like this. I think so. Right, I think
Looking at a
exactly the
freeze
same.
on her own
okay.
stone.
Looking to steal two here if she gets it, but she's got to freeze it perfectly, the nose in line. If she gets a little separation or a little bit on an angle, there's a chance for doubling it out and maybe 4. So really, really important shot here. She has to get this right in line, I think.
Yeah,
Make sure that there's no double setup. Any kind of double setup here could be really costly. So big shot here from Eve. Really important. Taking a big risk, I think. If she gets it in there right, though. We'll see. Eve Muirhead.
Line's good. Way only, guys. Whoa, way only, Vicky!
So we'll hear the skip or the calling
Vicky, you've got to go.
the name of one of the sweepers, indicating which one should sweep.
Warren!
I need to drag this a bit further.
Billy, go! Right, whoa,
Oh, that's perfect.
Whoa.
Oh, nicely played.
Yeah. It overcurled on the right side too, just a bit. Yep, Anderson's not even really, there's not much you can do with that.
It's almost a professional over curl.
Yeah, no, it's really good. That's the side you want if you're going to go over curl anywhere. That's where you want to go. So, not much looking at this. Straight draw to the button here to outdraw that. Get 1 point.
What do you think, Tay? Button, okay?
Great shot from Eve Muirhead.
Yeah.
Got some room. Where are we? Piece of the button. Piece of the button.
You seem to be pretty comfortable with this, calling for a
Right to
piece
play,
of
guys.
piece of the button.
Nice shot.
Oh, beautifully played. Well done.
Nice judge.
Takes a 1.
2 great shots there.
Judge. Fucking clutch. Nice judge. Good job. Guys.
It's really good end, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, nice shot.
You didn't hear that?
I think that was a technical term.
Yeah.
Okay.
Meaning
top
good
4,
shot?
Top 12.
Yep.
What time were those two there? Like these two?
So a really great end. Nicely played from both teams. And with that score of 1 in the third, the hammer goes back to Muirhead, and Anderson holds a 3-1 lead after 3 ends of play. Want to get results of the other games? Go to worldcurl.com. Like us on Facebook and Twitter.
Oh, here we go. 4th end.
Yep. Has room. Line's fine. Line's fine. Yep. As far as you can bring it. Keep it going. Keep it going. Thanks. 14-1. 14-1. Great sweep, guys. Really nice sweep.
No. No.
Looks like it's heavy.
So
No,
what can you
Kelly,
tell
no,
us about
guys.
the rocks? Any
Don't clean it. Don't clean it.
in the last 10 years there's been some changes, some minor, major changes. Anything you can tell us about, or is this all hush hush secret?
No, nothing. No, nothing is hush hush other than the stuff that's secret. But no, the rocks have changed quite markedly over the last 10 years. Probably the biggest difference is that, as I mentioned earlier on, the rocks have now got 2 inserts, 1 on each side. So there's one that the stone's sitting on the ice, and there's one underneath the handle. So the rock is effectively reversible, which gives you maximum flexibility and longevity. The other differences with the rock is that the cup depth has got slightly deeper, which they feel that gives it better insulation properties, so that the stone stays colder and is not as affected as much by high ambient temperatures, or if you're in an arena with a big crowd and a lot of heat load, then it takes longer to affect the stone. So there's been a lot of research and development into the stones and the way they operate. Of course, with curling being part of the Olympics as a full sport since 1998 in Nagano in Japan, then there's been a great deal of emphasis on the actual specifications, sizes, weights, dimensions of the stones. So the stones now are all made to what's called Olympic specifications.
So give us, I mean, obviously everybody seems to think that 19.96 is the standard weight of a rock, but we know that that's not the case. What is the standard weight of a curling rock?
Well, it's when you talk about 19.96, that includes the handle and the fixtures and what have you. That's
a maximum weight,
yes,
right?
Yes. So when a rock without any handle, without any other bolt or fixing on it, it comes off the factory floor, the production, at 18.15 kilograms.
And the handle will
take it up to the maximum weight, which is 19.96.
You're getting close to 19.96.
Yeah. I mean, rough round figures, 20 kilograms.
Okay.
You know, so we're pretty close. And because we're making stones for the Olympics, it's obviously absolutely critical, as it is for every club and every other event, to make sure the stones are absolutely perfectly matched. So there's a lot of work and a lot of testing done to ensure that the stones are as good as they possibly can be, given of course that granite is a natural occurring element and substance, so that they are as evenly matched. So when they get to these events, the players are quite comfortable throwing, you know, any of the rocks because they're so similar. But of course, the rocks, that's one element of this game. The ice is the other element of the game. And not, of course, to mention the player. I mean, as I said, there's 22 excuses you can make before you have to admit you played a bad shot. But, yes, for sure, the ice will change through an event. The rocks don't particularly change through the event, but the biggest variable here is the player.
Oh. Ooh. So that didn't
quite go according to plan.
Quite go to plan. Ends up running that guard back on her own. And Eve is going, thank you very much. I'll take that. And we'll see it here. Trying to clear that red guard out of play and just hits it at a completely wrong angle. Drives it back on her own. And yeah. Great camera work there, guys. Nice replays. Thank you very much.
Yep.
6, 4, Haley, you can go!
Polar HD crew from all the way in from Riga.
Hard, Haley, you gotta get in!
Last weekend in Perth, this weekend in Bern.
Keep going, Haley, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Of course, it sounds quite exotic, but you see the inside of one curling facility, then you go to another curling facility.
That's right. There's always, it's all very well, all the traveling around and covering all these events.
Hotel arena.
Exactly.
Someday I'll have to come back here and take a look at this place. I've been here 10 times.
That's right. I have to come back as a tourist.
I have to come back as a tourist.
Yes. Yeah.
Whoa! Close. Whoa! No roll, no roll. Yeah, just turn them in. Thanks. I was worried on your
So we're hoping to stick around there, but it rolled out. So Eve decides again to try and do the same shot again. Go round the guard, leave it sitting out in the edge of the rings. Splitting the house, as in this end, the fourth end, she has the hammer. So is obviously quite keen to try and capitalise and to try and get a 2 on the board. And keeping the stones far enough apart is trying to remove the threat of Anderson or the Christensen team being able to make a double. So it's
7, 8. Whoa. Let's stop.
So this one's drifting on. Just runs just behind the tee line. That's good separation on the rocks. So it's
yeah. Normal.
Sarah Anderson calling here is
What am I doing?
hit in the red.
Hitting and rolling.
And she wants to hit and roll. Decides to give ice on the other side. That's
Yep. Hard.
this is quite a big shot for Team Christensen in this end.
Whoa.
And calling the sweepers off completely. Makes the hit.
There
And
you go.
absolutely nails the double.
Fixes the problem from earlier.
That's it. Yeah.
They seem quite happy with that, and rightly so.
Good call. Very nice.
Really nice shot from the guys there. You might notice there's some red, looks like paint on markings, but as you can see from the picture here, there's red dividers, which obviously are painted red, and the marks on the stone striking bands, the red you see is coming from the stones hitting these bumpers. They're just picking up a little bit of paint.
Thanks for clearing it up. I thought it was blood or something.
No, not yet, not yet.
Yeah, buddy. Okay.
Okay, that's it.
That draw went a little bit too long. This Eve Muirhead
Yep. Rolling on is fine. Yeah, I
won
think
the
right
European
here.
Championships
Real
in
straight.
St. Gallen. Defeating Hasselberg in the final.
Yeah, they had an exceptional run in St. Gallen. It was a really good event.
Get out of here. Go ahead, 9.
Yeah, it's very nicely organized Europeans. So it was a lot of fun.
Indeed. Yeah.
Good crowds, good atmosphere.
Yeah, and being with the arena and the curling rink in St. Gallen being in the one building, it meant that the European A event and the B event being together was a very social affair because of the contact with all the teams. And of course, additionally, which was very unusual with the adjacent hockey rink, we converted that into 5 sheets of curling ice outdoors, which provided a lot of fun for many, many people. So.
Yeah. The fondue tent and all that was well used.
Indeed, well, it's important to keep nourished during these events.
Yeah, nourished and
Hydrated.
and hydrated, of course. Yes.
Yeah, centre or an
Let's
half
stick
an
it to button.
inside centre, I think will be good.
So,
Eve Muirhead, ranked 6th on the World Tour. If you want to see the rankings, the current rankings, World Tour, just go to worldcurl.com,
Right, okay.
look up rankings.
Similar
We
to
got
like
the
the
men's
one down here.
world rankings, the
Yeah.
women's world rankings,
Yeah.
mixed doubles. There'll be mixed doubles going on this weekend in Zoetermeer, the Netherlands, with the Dutch Masters. And we'll have streaming from there too. So all available on World Curling Tour YouTube channel. And if you're wondering why the Curling Champions Tour logos on the ice and World Curling Tour, Curling Champions Tour and World Curling Tour merged over the summer. And slowly we're rebranding all our events with World Curling Tour.
Good. Well judged.
There's a nice shot.
Well judged, Vic.
That's it, guys. Good.
Nice shot, you've good. Good. Well judged.
That's the way to set up your deuce. Corner guard, and well, that corner guard's not much in play actually.
Yeah.
no, it's a little bit wide.
Yeah, you hit this on the nose hard enough and everything else will disappear. She's got to hit it right on the nose, and that red's got to roll all the way across the house. So
Throw and peel here.
she's going to have to throw pretty good weight at this.
Yeah.
And Corey Christensen with
Easy a little less.
her team, ranked 38th, which is that's quite good.
Whoa.
Oh, she didn't like that release. Immediately shouted, whoa. Not touching it. And he was very happy with that release at all.
Overthrew it a bit.
But it, yeah.
Oh,
I need to curl just a little bit more. She would have had it.
I kicked this. I don't think it was going anywhere.
Just a little.
That was ugly.
Christensen's best finish is 2 third places on the tour this year. One of them in Stockholm, Ladies Curling Cup in September, which is a really tough tournament. And then also in Oakville, the Fall Classic.
So here we come now, the last stone of the fourth. And a straight hit and stick for 2 for Muirhead. We should put her straight back into the game. 3-3 after 4.
Very basic 2 made here.
Yeah.
Textbook style.
This is the bread and butter stuff you have to make.
You gotta make these. I think they're very simple, but you still have to focus and concentrate and throw them cleanly.
Normal, please.
So they seem, just keeping it clean, they seem pretty comfortable with this. And indeed they should be. Hits and sticks and picks up a 2.
You were good, Ray.
So really for the
Good.
first time in the game, Muirhead gets herself back onto even terms. She's been under pressure for most of the first 4 ends. This one she's managed to turn around and score 2 out of, which is good.
So we're all tied up and back to where we started. Christensen still maintains the hammer.
I liked how you released it last time. You know, you're throwing your rotations. I'll just keep you tight on them. Backline to hack.
Here we see it. 3-3 after 4 ends of play. Anderson with the hammer. And go to our Facebook page and give us a like. Have you done that, Mark?
Absolutely, I do it every
I'd
day.
Smack you if you didn't do it.
okay, line's nice. Line's good this time. Line's good.
So here we go, start of the 5th end.
Get it tight,
Hard,
guys.
Vicky,
Keep
hard.
going.
Team Christensen has the hammer.
Hard,
And Team
Vicky,
Muirhead
go to
start
the line, go
the
hard,
end
Kel.
by calling for a centre guard, and she wants it as close to
Kelly,
the
go.
house
Go,
as she
Kelly,
possibly
keep
can.
going. Perfect.
So
Good sweep. Good.
maybe just a little further out than she would like, but still centre guard. It gives her something to work with. So, and Team Christensen looking at a tick shot here, just to try and move that centre guard, keep the middle open. Of course, Anderson has, Sarah Anderson has the hammer. So, one of the, and this one's over curling. So it's missed the tick, but they're now adopting plan B, which is trying, I think, get it
on
in the
tee
house.
line. It's a little
It's just going to run out of space here, I think.
I feel quiet for a tick anyways. I could have
Yeah.
needed to have more weight, I think.
I think she just rolled her
Just go
wrist
the
a
same
little
way.
bit as she let that one go, and paid the price for it. But that's where it's critical in ice that's curling like this, and with the aggressive rocks, that your release and your control is absolutely, you have to focus on it all the time. Otherwise, something like that can happen.
Vicky! Vicky!
Line's curling.
Hard, Vicky!
Line's curling.
Where is it? Right, whoa,
Hard,
whoa,
you're good.
whoa.
Wait only.
Line's good if it's strong. No, don't touch it.
No line. No.
Pats is giving Gaspari a thrashing there. 9-1 after 4 runs of play. The European
Yeah. Hack.
bronze medalist. Gaspari,
Yeah.
which was quite a
Yeah, they played really well in the Europeans, and then when they went to the Olympic qualification event in Pilsen, they had a really tough time at the end.
Close. Forward.
with some controversy, but
Jenna. Yep.
they're here, which is good.
Any roll.
Won the first game, and unfortunately now getting a little bit of a lesson.
That's good weight.
Ah, controversy. Two touched rocks.
Easy, North.
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunate. Yes.
That's where the second one particularly was the real game changer. But that's in the history books now. So
Well, a very young player too, so things like that happen.
Easy, North.
Where you learn, right?
absolutely, yeah. No?
Hard, Kelly. You got
I
it.
always say that you never lose. If you don't win, you learn.
Yep.
So she's is this still a free guard zone rock? No, it isn't. Anderson asking Nicholson to take this rock out on the back of the forefoot. I think maybe she'd be better off with taking the guard off. She may take the guard off anyway.
Looks like she's going to tick the guard.
Go.
And actually, she split the guard, which is even better. Having the hammer, of course, and that rock behind the tee line is shouldn't cause you any difficulty.
I like that. I like that.
But
Yeah.
looks like
Apparently, the players like that too.
yeah, Eve very quickly going for let's put one in front and guard or come round a corner guard. She's a little bit unsure as to which one. I think she.
I didn't start with mine, but
Yeah,
I do know this.
She's not so much guarding
Yeah,
that
except-
red one
yeah,
on the
that's-
back of the forefoot as opposed to just putting up a center guard,
Okay,
which she
this
wants
side
to
will curl foot.
get into play
Yeah,
later on in the end.
indeed. Yeah, she'll be trying to set up the force.
That rock on the back of the forefoot's not going to win you the end. So
Okay, line's good.
may cause a bit of distraction throughout the end.
Well, that's right, and it's in play and it's in the house, so there is always a potential if something goes awry that it suddenly becomes a counting rock. But
But
yeah, no,
this,
under
this
normal
center card will
circumstances.
be the bigger danger than the rock in the forefoot, back of the forefoot.
for sure.
Okay,
So
Okay, good.
that's fine, that's it.
again, Christensen again should be playing the guard. Yes, she is.
Sorry, she got a touch deep there.
It's a short
Or
run.
Anderson, sorry.
They won't be in the
Or yes, is she? Is she
No,
not?
no, neither does he.
I think
I think she's going to try a run back here and try to get both of them. So.
Yeah, I think she wants to keep the middle open. I
Well,
mean,
I think that's got to be the.
yeah, she's got the hammer here, and she's maybe thinking of just making sure that she can get her one.
If you get both,
Then
bonus.
great, absolutely.
But I think a hit and roll here. Maybe if you get behind the guard, would be more important to get a rock and play that way.
Got it.
I needed to curl a little more.
Keep doing good.
Again,
Eve wants to put it back.
Yeah, say
Eve's
something
on
that
the
says
offense here.
Yeah. She's playing an attacking guard, as we used to say.
An attacking guard. Okay. Kelly Schaefer lives in Canada, actually,
Line's
but
good. Morning, keep it moving.
originally from
Morning.
Scotland.
Morning, yeah. Okay, eat weight only, guys. Just for weight.
I thought that was an attempt at a Scottish accent.
Aye, lad.
Hard, Vicky, hard.
Just keep going a little further.
I'll need a small drum before that'll work. Nice center guard again. And that keeps the pressure on. Christensen really is concerned about that.
You guys like rolling open? Back. Yep. Yep. Hard.
watching
You're
this
going to
one.
have the guard again. No,
Just a,
it's past
Yeah.
it. Now Eve has got the steal set up.
Yeah. Good sweep.
She's going to play the
Hers
hits.
is barrier.
You could play the intern draw around that center guard and sit right in front of that.
yeah, she doesn't even consider that option. I
Well,
think
the
she's
problem
just
with
looking
this hit and roll is you're still behind the tee line, right?
pretty much,
Okay,
yeah.
take your time. Hack weight.
Looking just to tap this back and then roll behind the center guard. Give herself a little bit of protection.
Whoa,
Hey!
whoa, 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 whoa.
Clean.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Time solid.
Clean. Yep. Yep. Whoa. Yep, yep. Hard.
It's looking pretty good.
Yep, yep, yep,
Oh,
yep.
Good.
pretty much nailed it right on the tee line.
I think your gloves under my jacket.
Back.
Good job. Peach. Yeah.
Hi.
Because I picked one up and it was too small and I went like that and picked it down. So
It's a good throw. It's a nice
This
throw.
one's well judged. Just slides past the guard.
I didn't give you less for that, yeah.
Yep. Whoa. Close.
I did it on the last one.
Yep.
And it was 11.
Hard. Hard. Yep. Hard, team. Yep. Yep.
Just going to get past. No.
Now, if that stays in the house, that may help her. It'll continue to bite as it swings back in again. That's the
We
other
know
thing
that,
aggressive
know-
rocks will do
knows
is
that.
they'll
Sure.
give that extra
For the
little
force.
snap at the end.
Same, like same and throwing. We know it.
I remember I played when I went to the kind of give up a two.
I know. I think
I don't
even
think
less.
it'll be much.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
there's good.
Yeah.
And go for a steal in six.
This is the third time that Eve has played up this line. And a little bit of chat there that they thought it was a little straighter. So tightening the ice.
That was early in the game.
For
Couple
sure.
of times down there, so
Yeah, no, we had this first time, wasn't it? Too much.
hasn't been played too much out there, so it probably should be pretty fresh.
Normal. Solid normal.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, okay, clean.
She threw that a little lighter, so she got the inside movement and the roll.
A little bit of a check of the red stone right on the front edge of the 12 foot to see whether it's in or not. It's difficult for us to tell from this angle, and they're studying it, so they must think it's close.
I don't think it's in, right? Yeah.
Well, they've decided they don't think it's in, so.
So firm. Put it right here.
Certainly from this angle, it doesn't look in.
No, not from this angle. Like you said, that's not the best angle to look at it from.
I don't think it's in. Throw in a double, firm weight.
So the double called.
We'll probably just roll your way, Tay. We bring it over that way. Throw in firm. Yeah, I mean, we're just hitting off nose with firm.
Taking her time with this one. Just focusing.
Whoa! Taylor! Taylor! Hard take.
Obviously needs to curl.
Yep.
And jams.
She did draw the end turn before and do the button.
If you're going to draw that side, you might try to split, just get three into play, right?
be?
Yeah.
Just outside. Maybe.
No. Thing is, we don't leave a slash blank, but I don't think we're gonna.
Top 8. As long as we're in.
Yeah. Like that.
Boom. Yeah.
So a little bit of discussion here on where to place the stone. They're obviously looking to try and force Christensen to take her one.
Well,
So
the force would be easy with just putting it one, throwing one on the other side,
Okay.
or splitting in that for 3. Then she'll have
Yeah,
to
cross center.
drop. By trying to get in front of this,
Yep,
she's
yep.
trying to steal, right?
well,
Okay.
I think that's maybe in the back of her mind.
She
So we're going.
puts it up there, that
Okay.
double and for the blank is there, right?
Exactly. She can slash double it and roll,
Yeah,
and if
so-
this top red is out, then it's a blank end. She retained the hammer. And it was, Muirhead was discussing it, but seems to now have made her decision and is going to put one in the top of the 8 foot on the other side of the house.
4? 4's good. Have a look, guys. Hard, Lauren!
It's got to be in, whatever happens here.
Hard, guys!
Well, this is struggling, but it's
Keep
just
going,
about
go, go,
enough
go.
to make it. But
Sorry.
Okay.
That
Good.
makes that double a little
Yes.
a little tougher.
tougher because the jam is there, or the
There.
hit and roll, so she's going to end up being forced to take one anyways.
Yeah. Like she's got to elect to draw here. I don't think she's really got any other option.
But the only way of doubling those 2 red out, she's going to end up rolling over and sticking anyways
I still want that.
on that red and probably counting 1. So.
We can come down to the backing if you want. You like this way? Yep. I think.
All right, so electing to draw into the
Draw
backing.
to the backing.
That's
Mid-8.
Then you might as well play a quiet hit on it, right?
yeah.
Well,
No, they're having a
little
little more-
indecisiveness here.
Well, yeah, I think that not only are they indecisive, they're not really sure either. So it's
That's fine. Yeah, let's just throw a 9-5. Yep.
all right.
There
So
you go.
now deciding to do the hit.
Well, yeah.
Are you clairvoyant?
To draw to the banking, you know, those things never work out very good, do they? You might as well play a quiet hit on it.
Yeah. Well, 9.5's not that quiet.
You got a fair amount of space to roll there. If you get it a little on the inside, you got a whole meter or more to roll there. So
Indeed.
I don't mind this call.
Well, at the end of the day, she has to play. She has to take the one here, or she could be potentially in trouble. So
Sarah Anderson, last rock here in the 5th end, looking to score 1 against 2 red counters. Pretty quiet. I think.
Natalie! Yep, right to it, hard. Shot.
There you go. Just
Nicely done.
Simple as that.
he takes her one.
So with that force, Anderson score 1,
Yeah, you're right.
take a 4-3 lead, and the hammer now changes to Muirhead.
Whew, good call. Nice run. Good job. Sorry, just
Feeling that
way out there. Oh, it's good.
Eve slowly taking control of this game.
It's so far. You got to give credit to the Christensen team and Anderson. She's been forcing it all the way, and that's the first time we've really seen it. Eve coming forward and turning the screw the other way. So it might well be the change in the momentum that's.
We're coming up to the deciding end here, the 6th end. Always a big end. These 8-end games here on the tour. WorldCurl.com. That's the address for all the results on the tour. And also links to live streaming games, and of course, give us a like on Facebook. Support curling, support the tour. These players will benefit from all that.
So, of course, this being an Olympic year, there's a lot of all the teams that have qualified. There's a lot of pressure on them, obviously, to perform, and they're taking part in almost as many events as they can in preparation for the Olympics, which, of course, this year are start on the 8th of February in Pyeongchang in South Korea.
Yes, and then after the Olympics, of course, come the Worlds.
Indeed. So
the women are
in North Bay, Ontario.
North Bay, Ontario, and of course the men going to Las Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas, baby. Absolutely. Yes.
And that's looking like it's going to be a good event.
Well, Vegas always do these things well. Lots of razzmatazz and showmanship and what have you. So there are worse places to go.
The patches in the pool or something like that.
It wouldn't surprise me. April in Las Vegas is not going to be cold. So, getting this 6th end underway. Two guards already in play. Trying to come round. Team Christensen trying to come round this one. I think it's curling a little bit more than she would like.
He's a little high, so continue sweeping that. It'll curl even more. And that's a pretty good rock. It's done.
Just tempting Eve, I think, here. Lauren Gray plays her second of her 2 lead stones. And they're working it pretty hard, trying to keep it away from the guard.
It's really moving now.
Oh, it's past the guard by next to nothing. Makes the hit in a little roll.
Keep sweeping that. We got behind the guard. Stay with it. Sweep it over. Get it behind that corner guard. As it is, it's wide open.
Hoping here to make the hit. And trying a little roll, but not much there. So stone remains in the open. So Eve calling the hit here, and then a roll to the wing. Vicky Adams tasked with this one.
Hard, Kelly! Hard! Okay, whoa. Okay, good throwback.
So again makes the hit, but pretty much on the nose, no roll to speak of. So once again, it's a little bit of Groundhog Day here. Same again.
Happiness is a hit and roll, is it?
Yep.
Yeah. For me, happiness is just a hit.
9-5. Whoa, yeah. Whoa. Jenna. Whoa.
Once again, makes the hit, but not much roll. So the only issue now is that this yellow stone has been, the stones have been, so many of them hit, it's kind of moved forward in the house. So it's very touch and go from here whether a hit on the nose would actually mean the stone would be in the house. They really do need a roll here.
No, let's go here.
Slowly putting a groove in that ice there.
I think so, yeah. quite a few shots being played down this line, so they should know it. Should be pretty comfortable with it.
Adams.
Less than less. Whoa! 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 Whoa!
When I says whoa, I mean whoa. And she got a bit of a roll. It did change the position. Not quite enough.
That's, both teams seem to have had a bit of difficulty on this line. They're making the hits for sure, but they're not getting the desired roll that they're asking for.
Might be a little easier to get a roll now.
Whoa! Whoa, Taylor! Whoa, whoa! Yeah!
Whoa, this one really it's really
She's gonna
moved.
roll too far now.
Whoa, that really moved. I wonder if maybe that picked something,
And
because they were pretty comfortable with it all the way down.
Spin back in. No, it won't. So we're not hitting anymore.
Nope. No.
Before, Kel, you were 14-1, and that was good. Good team.
So Eve with the hammer here.
So calling out a time there of 14-1. That's the time taken for the stone to travel between the first hog line, where Kelly must release the stone for a count.
Comes to about 24-second
Line's
ice
good.
or so.
Line's
That
good.
absolutely. And the 14.1 is to when it crosses the second hog line. So
Line, Vicky!
speed is so far 6 ends in, pretty consistent.
Whoa, we only.
And is she touching the
No.
cup? She got right past it. So nicely done.
Good.
Nicely played.
Oh, because I thought they just think that you get really
Perfect, Kel.
just dive. That's exactly.
Yeah.
Let's see how well that's covered. So run back here.
Still want to hit it right here. Do you think you can hit and get on the rings? What? You think you can hit and roll on?
Oh, it's a pretty steep roll.
Whoa, yeah. I think that's changing the
No,
laws of
roll
physics.
here. Okay. I like
Certainly
it
can
then.
roll over there,
You
but
can't see that, of course, from the other end. So fair question.
What turn? Just aiming center there.
Well, that game's over. Pats and Kaspari. 9-2 after 6 ends of play.
Yep. Yes, hard. Hard. Yep, just feeling it. Yep.
She's got the guard. She does get the roll with hitting the rings, but she just didn't stay there.
yeah, that's
Yeah. Yep.
Line!
6-7.
Way only!
7.
Whoa!
7.
No. Look,
6.
Whoa, gotta be top. Line's perfect. Right here. Whoa. Up.
oh, this is nicely played.
Good.
Very much
Nice count.
directly behind the guard, making a double pretty much impossible.
Really
Separation.
nice throw. Good job.
We'll get the long view. You'll see how good this stone that's just on the top of the 4 foot is.
So a hit and roll behind that red one now would be ideal
5, hit and roll
and
center.
almost necessary.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what she's calling here. She's calling for the hit and roll, and she wants it to go in behind the red,
Yeah,
sit
that's
on the
fine.
button.
Real
Okay.
easy shot
Yeah, it's the kind of thing we do all the time.
all the time.
You know. With all seriousness, though, this is a really tough shot. This is and it's a big shot in the end. It will go quite some way to determining how this end is going to play out. They're working this one really hard. I'm not sure that they're... Oh dear, she's pulled that slightly and it's fresh. Well, there we go.
A little bit light.
Yeah, just changes the whole
That was my first call, but
the whole dynamic of the end is changed with that result, and you can see the disappointment there. Very unhappy with herself. But so now Team Muirhead has a bit of a team conference to decide on what's the best call here. And of course, this end she does have the hammer, so she's looking for taking for more than
Chance
one.
to take 3 here,
that's,
at least.
and we know it. This will probably curl a bit more this way, I think, from the one, because I threw one corner.
Do you think edge of button? This is the one where I went for that draw and I caught that one, but then again, that's a total different line.
I think inside.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
Even if the corner shoots back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's going to the other side. Okay, so she's splitting the rings. Is that it?
I think so. Yeah, she want to draw out to the tee line and the 12 foot on the beside the yellow,
Similar.
out to there,
Yeah.
just where she's sweeping now. That's where she wants to be.
That's the key.
All right.
Yeah.
Don't know if that sweeping was effective
I
or
think
not.
we can go edge of button.
So in turn draw here. About the same height here as the other 2.
Felt close.
Keeping your head looking at.
Line's good. Line's good. We're good.
So I seem quite comfortable with this one.
Not deep.
Good. Perfect. Well spent.
So those rocks are nicely lined up now, aren't they?
Those stones are in the perfect position. Yeah. If I call them rocks, I'll get into trouble. So this is a...
You're saying they're granite stones?
They are granite stones, yes.
I thought granite was a rock.
Only if you're Canadian. These stones are made of Ailsa Craig granite, a little island off the west coast of Scotland that has bountiful supplies of the common green, which is the body of the stone, and the blue hone granite, which is the running surface.
Big shot here from Sarah Anderson. Really needs, really needed that roll.
This could
Your
be
head sitting
This could be the
2 already.
Yep, a hit and stick for 3, and
Well,
it's
she could
really
draw
changes the dynamic of the game.
She could draw or hit. I guess he's opting to hit. I suppose that's a hit ice.
Oh yes, I would think so. So nice and controlled. Again, one of the bread and butter shots that she has to make, but if she makes it and gets the 3, it quite changes the dynamic of the game quite
Certainly
substantially.
does, so. Keep Muirhead, last rock in the 6th.
Normal.
Looking at scoring 3, which would be pretty big in the 6th end here.
Clean.
We seem pretty comfortable with it.
Oh, we're good.
Yeah, I think they're good.
We're good.
And there it is. And that'll give her a 2-point lead after 6 ends of play. So, as we said, Muirhead slowly taking control of this game and certainly in the driver's seat now.
I was like, oh my god. Nice.
That just curled.
So lots of chat between the girls there.
And then you said, whoa.
A little bit more subdued in the Christensen camp.
It was
Sarah will have to put that behind her.
Okay.
Miss with her first rock. It's a costly one. Muirhead up 2 after 6 ends of play. Score 6-4.
So big end for Team Christensen coming up. They have to reduce this deficit, give themselves a chance. As you say, Armin, looks like Muirhead's in the driving seat at the moment, so she'll be now looking to control the game. And will be wanting to keep the pressure on Team Christensen. 2 ends to play. So we start this 7th end. Immediately puts one straight in on the center line, on top of the 8-foot.
Yeah, good position. Not that area where you want to be. Anderson asking for a corner guard. We'll be on again at 10:30 tomorrow. We'll have another A-Road game. Not sure who yet. It's Czech Republic. And they'll wait to see who wins between Stritt and Jensch, and we'll be covering that game. 10:30 local time. Going to be showing 11 games this weekend. 3 games tomorrow, 3 games Saturday, and all the play on one game from each of the playoff games on Sunday. Back to the end.
Lots of room. Lots of room. 8.
So this one a little bit deeper than I think they really wanted, and just going to sneak out the back.
Yeah, somehow you get the feeling that the wheels are coming off here.
There's a couple of unforced errors.
Yeah, it wasn't a very good rock.
Yeah. Yep, not really a good stone.
Nope. Stone. This one, it's like a little bit bigger than a pebble. A rock.
No, a pebble's the water we put on the ice to create the running surface.
Yeah, and the stone's a little bit bigger. Stones are something the shoes kick on the ice.
All right. Mm-hmm. Well, these are large stones then.
Really?
Yes.
I guess you guys invented the game, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if we say it's stones, it's stones.
And then we showed you how to play it properly.
For a little while. We've got to humor you. But, it's interesting to know, just in talking about that in the slams that have been played this year, that European teams have featured very heavily, which has probably been the first time in the history of the slams that teams from Europe and Asia are beginning to make an impact. And of course the guys are getting, the European and Asian teams are getting the experience in the CCT events in Europe, and taking that experience with them to Canada, and then putting up pretty good performances. So,
well, the last couple of years we've been, the European teams have been doing really well in North America. 10 years ago they struggled to make the playoffs, and
That's true, and then this year though they're in playoffs, they're winning slams, they're winning finals.
And
so.
at the beginning of the season, we actually had 2 European teams leading the world ranking.
Good.
Now, was that a first?
Yeah, Hasselberg was leading the women's ranking, #1, and Edine, #1. They're both #2 right now, but it's very small up at the top there. Jennifer Jones in first place on the world ranking. And Anna Hasselberg, Rachel Homan, Terrence Sony, and Eve Muirhead in 5th. So we've got top 5. We got
I don't think, I mean, it's still early.
3 European teams.
Yep.
Is the tide changing?
Yeah, goes back and forth. That's good. That's good. It's only a matter of time, and we'll see the Asian teams moving up there also.
Whoa, whoa. Yep, yep. Hard.
Top-ranked Asian team at the moment is Bin Yuang at 19.
Hard, hard. Yep, hard. Yep, hard.
Kim from Korea was, they're down at 26 now, but they were quite a bit higher last year. They've really dropped off
Good weight.
this season.
Certainly know with being in Korea many times over the last couple of years that the Kim team have done some extensive amount of traveling and wondering now if there's having a little bit of a quiet time just in preparation to move forward into the Olympics, being it's in South Korea.
Yeah, I'm sure they'd like to have a good showing at home.
I would think so. A nice double.
This is the problem here. You let Muirhead get a lead. She's really good at defending that. She's going to come down and draw down to the one on the button. I don't know if you need to move it yet. Just freeze to it right now. It's good enough. The position here is really important.
For sure. Yeah.
That's the main thing. Get it into play in front of it.
Just on the back of your comments about the tour standings and what have you, that as we've said a few times during this commentary, the Winter Olympics are in Pyeongchang in 2018 this year, and of course the next Winter Olympics will be in Beijing. So 2 successive Olympics in Asia. I'm sure is going to see some fairly remarkable development of the teams in that zone. Which will in due course have an impact on the tour events and potentially worlds as well.
That was another poor rock there from Anderson's team. The rock really doesn't do them much good where it is. Needed to get that in front of the one in the forefoot. Kelly Schaefer can pick this out quite easily.
Yeah, pretty comfortable with that.
And she makes a clean pick. So another chance to get that rock into position.
Back 4. I'll give you a little less.
Just a little less. That rock was a little heavy, so she throws the right weight and gives a little less.
I could have a little wreck on the front one.
Could have a little wreck, yes. So how much does a stone weigh?
Oh,
that's a weight measurement. What does a stone weigh?
A stone.
Let's see, I get you with logic here now. How much does a stone weigh?
Yeah, are you talking curling stone here?
No, a stone is weight, right?
Okay, well,
1 stone is
14 pounds.
What's that in kilos?
Some.
Yeah.
Probably 6 and
6,
a bit.
But a rock weighs 19.96 kilos.
No, a curling stone weighs 19.96.
No. There's no logic in that.
No, but it's unfortunately it's the truth. That's the way it is.
And again, that rock is in a poor position, or the stone in your case.
Yeah.
We'll let the Swiss play stones and the Americans will play rocks. How's that? Or the Scots play stones and the Targets play rocks.
Oh well, I'll only have to commentate then on the Scots if we're going to play stones all the time. Otherwise, I'll get into trouble. I was even questioning myself over wrecking a guard, whether that was an appropriate term.
Leave Muirhead. This should be pretty easy to pick and remove.
Good.
The Americans just not getting the rocks in the right position. Another attempt. Started off really strong, but having a little accuracy problems, a little weight problem.
We're just tapping it a couple inches. Yeah. Jan's weight was perfect. Just giving it a few more inches of ice. It's like an 80, 85.
So Sarah Anderson coming out, attempting to freeze Muirhead stone. It's sitting on the button. So now the third attempt at this shot. So seem a bit more happier.
Yeah, this is looking a little bit better.
Just whether it's got the weight, and it's not, unfortunately, for Team Christensen.
I don't know, they gave up a little too early on that. I think you need to get that behind the front one. I'm sure that was in there.
The thing is, what can they do with that at the moment anyway?
I think you could have got that into the 8 foot
I know, to make it
partially
better.
behind that red one, maybe.
I guess we might as well just throw
Yeah,
the guard
it certainly was I think it was certainly a possibility if they'd kind of thought of a plan B.
Yeah.
That would have been it. That would have been it.
guard this one.
They gave up a little too early on that for me.
That's Team Muirhead now once again.
Guard the draw.
Team discussion.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's afraid of moving
there's
that red
nothing
one.
on
She
this.
doesn't really want to touch that red one that's there. That's
Yeah.
doing a good job of.
And now it's going to get
Super
two
pin
guards
right
on
here.
it. So
Yeah, and there's no angle on that yellow, so you can't do not much with that yellow.
You can even be far,
Yeah,
like where
you
your
know.
feet
yeah,
are.
but on that
it's
line. Yeah.
Okay.
In-turn draw around that front red one.
yeah, to bite half the button. It's,
Got this.
You can even do a
Well, she's
out-turn
gonna
draw
cross
around the
it
yellow.
here.
hmm.
So what? She's played a lot of them. Yep, that. 8 to 4? I think so.
What's the call now? Didn't quite get it.
Yeah.
Still,
Yeah.
I don't get the ice there. Is she just drawing to the right-hand side somewhere?
Yeah.
T-line, something like that?
yeah, I don't.
Last thing we can go is too deep and leave her like an in-off or something stupid.
So I think it's
Drawing I think, Cal.
drawing across to the edge of
Yeah.
4 on the other side, but in that line, but just
Gotta
putting
be
it around
behind
the.
It's got to be behind a bit to make sure she doesn't set up a double, or
Well.
at least in line with the T-line.
I don't know if she wants to go that deep. I think she wanted to stay high.
Just top of the 12 foot.
Top 12, top 8, something
Well,
like that.
we're about to see where they're going to put it. That rock is underway.
Line's real good.
They seem pretty comfortable with it.
Whoa.
It's certainly looking like top
Yep.
12, top 8, but
Whoa,
it's if it
whoa,
gets
whoa,
there.
whoa,
But
whoa.
all right,
Oh, she just
I'm
took
just
it.
trying to block the draw into the button on that side.
Okay.
I think that's the idea behind that. I think it could have done with being a little closer, but
Yeah, I think it
as a distraction, I think it certainly does its job.
this
You
might
can
go
draw
over that
behind
way.
it now.
Well, that's the possibility. That's why I think a little closer to the ring might have been better. But she's now Anderson's looking at
You like the out turn?
possible run back here on that red at the top of the 8 foot. But she can't see a lot of it, so it's a really tough shot if she calls it. But
Yeah.
still a little bit of discussion going on. A long look at it. Trying to judge the angles. You can see what she's thinking. Hit it
Yeah.
roughly where her brush is and put it straight back into the red. And if it's slightly off, it splits both of them out.
That doesn't make her shot in any way.
Can I just try and roll
It
up
doesn't. Unless
Back
they
one's-
get a little bit of the back one as well. That's then if she pulls that off, then that's an amazing shot.
Well, it's kind of a Hail Mary here.
Yeah, well, I think if she pulls that one off, she should go and buy a lottery ticket.
Trying for the triple. It's not a way to score 2.
There we go.
Last rock. 7th.
Lots of rotation.
Hard!
No, it's over curled.
Well, this is game over.
Yeah, I
Shake
think so.
hands.
It is. It must be.
And the
It's a
gloves are
3.
coming off.
They are.
So
Shake hands.
steal a 3 for Muirhead. And that will make the score 9-4 after 7 ends. Really good start for Anderson. Strong first half, but they
Pushing this way.
let it slip away from them. And Eve showing a lot of poise and experience coming through, taking the game back again. You could see her slowly taking control on that game. Once Muirhead's got a lead on it, it's pretty hard to
Yeah,
go back at her.
got to say that Team Christensen with Anderson
That's what you
skipping
said. We're
played
like, if
really
we-
well through
if
4
we
ends,
did it,
really controlled and kept Eve under a lot of pressure. And then it just started to open up, particularly in the 6th end with Muirhead taking a 3.
And there we see the final score. Another steal 3 in the 7th, and that finishes out the game 9-4. This production in partnership with the World Curling TV, World Curling Federation. Joint efforts. This World Curling Tour event coming to you live from Bern, Switzerland. We've got finishing our 2nd game today. We hope you enjoyed that game. We'll be back again at 10:30 tomorrow with another A road game. We've got 3 games on for tomorrow. So if you want to see what games are on, you need to check out our YouTube channel or the WCF or World Curl TV YouTube channel. Also on worldcurl.com, you'll see all the results. See some of the highlights here. 3rd end. It's a good double there. Chris and Anderson was having a good game up to that point. Great draw. In the 5th, 2. Stay in the game. Then Muirhead started to turn up the heat. Some great rocks in play. As we see some of the highlights from the game, Mark, thanks for jumping in. And,
No, my pleasure.
lots of good info on ice and rocks, and maybe we'll get a game with you tomorrow if you're still around.
I'm still around, so yeah, that would be good.
And that was it for us from Bern for today. Hope to see you back again tomorrow here on Curling Tour from Bern. Wish everybody a good night or a good day wherever you are. Thanks a lot.